Hello students, today we will study about post-fertilization structure and events. So the major post-fertilization events include development of endosperm, and embryo, maturation of ovules into seeds and ovary into fruits. All these events take place soon after fertilization. All these events take place. So post-fertilization events include development of endosperm and embryo, maturation of ovules into seeds, ovary into fruits, and all these events take place after fertilization. Now PEC. What do you mean by the PEC? It's primary endosperm cell. Primary endosperm cell. Primary endosperm cell, it is formed as a result of triple fusion. It was formed, we have read that it was formed as a result of triple fusion. And what happened due to triple fusion? PEC, primary endosperm cell, was formed. It undergoes repeated divisions. It undergoes repeated divisions and forms the triploid endosperm tissue. So after repeated division, what does it form? It forms triploid endosperm tissue. The cells of this endosperm tissue are filled with reserved food, and provides nutrition to the developing embryo. So the cells of this endosperm tissue, they are filled with reserved food and they provide nutrition to the developing embryo. Primary endosperm tissue, what happens to primary endosperm tissue? What happens to it? It undergoes free nuclear divisions. It undergoes free nuclear divisions. As a result of that, what happens? Or at this stage, when it goes free nuclear division, what is it called? Or what does it give rise to? It gives rise to free nucleus. Free nuclear division gives rise to free nucleus, and at this stage it is called free nuclear endosperm. At this stage it is called free nuclear endosperm. It is called free nuclear endosperm. Let's move. So after the formation of free nuclear endosperm, what happens? Wall formation takes place. And it starts from the periphery, from the outer wall, then it moves towards the center, and the endosperm now becomes cellular. So After the formation of free nuclear endosperm, what happens? Wall formation takes place and it moves from the periphery towards the center, and the endosperm becomes cellular. Let's find another pen. Okay. The coconut what? Now the coconut, what here is, so after the free nuclear endosperm has been formed, what happens? Wall formation takes place, and it starts from the periphery, from the outer surface. Then it moves towards the center and the endosperm becomes cellular. The coconut water, most of you might have drunk it. It comes from tender coconut. It comes from tender coconut. What is it? It is free nuclear endosperm. It is free nuclear endosperm. Coconut water which we obtain from tender coconut is free nuclear endosperm, and it is made up of thousands of nuclei. It is made up of thousands of nuclei. But the surrounding white kernel, what is it? It is the cellular endosperm. It is the cellular endosperm. So the free nuclear endosperm is formed, and then after what happens? Wall formation takes place. It starts from the periphery and then towards the center, and now the endosperm becomes cellular. Take the instance of coconut water. We find coconut water in the tender coconut, which is the free nuclear endosperm made up of thousands of nuclei, but it is surrounded by white kernel, and which is the cellular endosperm. So based on the absence or presence of endosperm, seeds are classified into endosperm seeds or non-endosperm seeds. Either they are classified into endosperm seeds or non-endosperm seeds. Here it is clear. Seeds which have endosperms are known as endosperm seeds, such as albuminous seeds. It must be albuminous seeds. And the plants here, wheat and rice, which have such kind of seeds. Wheat and rice. Non-endosperm seeds, they don't have endosperm, they lack endosperm, and the plants which have such kind of seeds are pea, bean, etc. Now what is embryo? What is embryo? Embryo, we all know it, diploid cell, and it develops from zygote. It develops from zygote. Embryo develops from zygote, and what is it? It is develops from zygote. Embryo develops from zygote, and it is a diploid cell. And where does it start to develop? It starts to develop at the micropylar end. We have seen the figure in the former classes at the micropylar end. But the development of zygote to form embryo, takes place with a certain condition. What is that particular condition? The endosperm formation must start place. Formation must start. What take place? Because it is the endosperm which provides nutrition needed to the embryo to develop. So the development of zygote the development of embryo from zygote depends upon the formation of endosperm, because endosperm provides nutrition for the embryo to develop. Now, we all know that stages of development are same in both monocot, monocot and dicot embryo. So stage of development is stage of embryo development is same in the monocot and dicot embryo. Now we have here a term embryogeny. It refers to the stages of the embryo development or embryonic development. It refers to the stages of embryonic development as the fertilized egg passes through the stages. Which stages? Fertilized egg here is zygote. It passes through the stages of 2-cell stage, 8-cell stage, heart-shaped stage, and the globular stage. Heart-shaped stage, first it was 2-cell stage, then the globular stage, then heart-shaped stage, and finally the mature stage. 2-cell stage, then it's 8-cell stage, then globular stage, then heart-shaped stage, and finally the mature embryo. Let's make a figure. The first one is zygote, 2-celled stage, then the 2-stage stage with a particular to 8-cell stage or globular stage or 8-cell stage. Okay, so it is 8-cell stage. It is also known as globular stage, and finally the heart-shaped stage, and then the mature embryo. So now it becomes heart-shaped. This is the heart-shaped stage, and finally it's in this manner. So this is the radical, and these are two cotyledons. This is the mature one. This is the mature one. So two-celled stage, from zygote to two-celled stage, then it's the globular stage, that means 8-celled stage, then heart-shaped stage, and finally this is the mature embryo. The structure of a dicotyledonous embryo, is quite different from the monocots. Let's discuss it. So dicotyledonous embryo it has the following important parts. What are those parts? Embryonal axis, embryonal axis. That is the main axis of the embryo, which divides into two regions. It divides into two regions. Cotyledons, seed lips. What are cotyledons? They are seed lips. These help in food storage and provides nourishment to the developing radicle and plumule, root tip and shoot tip. Epicotyl. What is epicotyl? It is part of the embryonal axis. It is part of the embryonal axis, and it is found above the cotyledons. It terminates at plumule or shoot tip. Then we have hypocotyle. What is hypocotyle? It is also part of the embryonal axis, and it is below the cotyledons. And it terminates at radicle or root tip. Let's make a figure first. It must be here. This is the root cap. This is the root cap. This is the radicle. This one, root tip, radicle. This is hypocotyle, radicle, root cap, and we have plumule. Let's rub this structure with this one. Let's find a new one. This is the root cap terminating at the tip of the root. It's a radical. Here we have hypocotyle. This is plumule tip, and we have these cotyledons 1 and 2. These are cotyledons, dicotyledons. So we have understood the whole thing with the help of this figure. Now let us move towards monocotyledon. Now let us study about monocotyledons. We have monocotyledonous, embryo. Monocotyledonous embryo. So it has also some important parts. What are those important parts? As usual, embryonal axis. So it is the main axis of the embryo, which divides it into different regions. Cotyledon, only single cotyledon or one cotyledon or seed leaf exists, and it is termed as a scutellum. And it is located at one side of embryonal axis. Plumule, shoot tip, radical, root tip. There is another word, coleorhiza. What is coleorhiza? It is sheath or covering. It is sheath which envelops or covers radical and root cap. It covers radical and root cap. It is known as coleorhiza. Coleoptile, that's another word for you. What is it? It is also a sheath, and it encloses plumule and a few leaf primordia. So embryonal axis, it is the main axis of the embryo, which divides it into different regions. Cotyledon, it has single cotyledon or single seed leaf, and it is known as scutellum, and it is located on one side of axis. Plumule, so that is it ends at shoot tip, radicals at root tip, and coleorhiza, its sheath which covers radical and root cap, and coleoptile, the sheath which encloses plumule and few leaf primordia. Okay, let's make a figure. The figure is very important here. Let's rub it off, then make the figure. Let's draw the figure. Now we have started from here. Let's move. Let's move from here. You can make a better figure than me, no problem with that. So you draw a better figure. I am giving you in this manner. Figure has been too big. Okay. Let's start from this manner. we have to end it here. We have to end it here and this manner. Okay, and let's draw this one. A bit tough figure than that of the dicot. Do you get it? So this is the scutellum. Showing it to you. This is the scutellum, the single cotyledon. Okay, and this is the coleoptile, that's the hollow structure. Coleoptile, the sheath which includes plumule and few leaf primordia. This is the shoot apex of the shoot. This is epiblast. This is epiblast. Now we have to move a bit down, and this is this one is radical here. We have here root cap. Sorry, this space is known as radical. This is the root cap. This is the root cap, and this one is coleregia. Coleregia. So this is the coleregia. This is the root cap. Here we have the radical. Here we have the radical. Epiblast, coleoptile, and shoot apex, and that's a scutellum for you. That's a scutellum for you, and we have also that's enough. Nothing to show next. So we have a scutellum, we have coleoptile, we have shoot apex, we have epiblast, and here radical, root cap, and coleregia. So with this we come to the end of this particular lecture. We will continue with this particular topic in the next video. Till then, keep enjoying biology and do like and share my videos, and if you haven't subscribed my channel, quickly do so.